Hi folks, today I am making my perfect biscuits and I just wanted to talk you through the process to make sure that you get the same great results. So in the bowl I have creamed the butter and the sugar together, and then I'm going to add an egg yolk, and I'm going to add the zest of half an orange with a tablespoon is what I measured of orange juice, okay? And then just to give it a bit of flavour, a bit of an added oomph, I'm just adding in about half a teaspoon of a sort of a cinnamon and nutmeg mix, okay? And then I'm going to beat these again, so you can see that the mixture is sort of like a light coloured and fluffy, and that's what you want to do. So then I'm going to beat it again, and then I'll show you the next step. So what I've done now is that I have beaten the sugar and butter mixture, and I've added the egg yolk and the flavouring. So that's what's great about this biscuit recipe, is that you can add so many different flavourings to make it a different recipe each time, and obviously to adapt to what everybody else you know, likes. So it's a lovely colour, and what I really like now, it's got this touch and hint of orange and mixed spice, which is what I wanted. So in here now I have the flour, and I'm going to sieve that in, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to mix it in. I am not going to beat it. I'm going to mix it in until it's well combined, and then I will bring it together probably at the end with my hands. So you can see here, I'm just going to mix it in gently so that I don't spill the flour everywhere, and I don't overwork what I have beaten already. So I'm sort of doing it in a slightly kind of a folding method. Okay, so I'll keep doing this, and then I will come back and show you how it comes together then as a dough. Alright, so I have mixed it together, and what I'm doing now is, for the final part, I'm bringing it together with my hand. You'll always have to do this with a roll-out dough, biscuit dough. It is a little bit sticky, but what I'm going to do then is to pop it onto a sheet of floured parchment. I prefer to use the parchment, but you can of course use like a plastic wrap if you want, and I would suggest that you work in half portion, just to, you know, have control of what you're doing, so that you're not overdoing too much. So there it is there. That's it, that's your biscuit dough. I really prefer to put my biscuit dough into the fridge before I bake it, especially if I'm using a stamp, which I'm going to use today. I really like to pop it into the fridge, because it just helps to keep the shape of whether you're cutting out a shape or you're imprinting with a stamp. So a little tip I had given you before was that I keep flour in a little tea strainer when I'm doing things like this, and it just allows me to have a control of the flour that I'm pushing onto the dough, instead of just, you know, perhaps putting too much on. So I'm just giving it a little roll, as you can see, and then just turning with each one, just to give it a chance to be an even spread, and then also not to overwork it or to break it up. So that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to get my stamp. I'm going to use some stamps that I got from Berkman. I'm very excited to use them, and I'll show you why now. So I'm just looking, I don't want to over roll it, because you don't want them to be too thin, because you want to have a nice biscuit. So I think that's kind of okay there, and then I'm going to show you the stamping and then what we do next. So I've rolled them out, and as I was saying, I'm going to use my stamp. So this is my Berkman stamp, and I got these fox and owl stamps, which I just think are adorable. So I hope that you can see. You can. So what I tend to do is that I stamp out, always have a plate of flour there, and you dip into the flour and then stamp. Just, it's the safest way to do it. And then once you've stamped, find a cutter. These are ordinary pastry cutters. Find a cutter that'll fit just over the size of your biscuit that you have cut out, and then just press it down, and then you'll have your shape. So I'm just going to do that again. So I've got that there, press it down gently, lift, and then put the pastry cutter over it and lift that. So what I do then is I don't actually sort of do one and move them. I cut them all out, and then I remove the pastry around and then lift them onto the baking tray, which is lined with parchment, and then I pop that into the fridge and I leave it there for about 30 minutes, maybe even 45, and then I bake them as usual. So I will go ahead and do that, cut these out, and then we will come back when they are out of the oven and baked to show you. So I'm on to the owls now. Seriously, have you seen anything as cute as this? So I am pressing gently and then just tapping it into the flour and pressing down again. So that's my imprint, and then I'm taking my pastry cutter and I am just cutting around each one so that I have an actual biscuit. Then to lift out, I probably put them a bit close to each other. So I want to show you that I take away the excess and then just lift with a palette knife. This one's cut yet. With a palette knife onto the tray. So there's, I'm just taking that away there. Just take it away like that, and then just lift. Okay folks, so I have just taken the biscuits out of the oven. I'm just wondering if I can hold the tin. So that's the owls, and that's the foxes. So what I can see is that I need them to be a little bit thicker to get the imprint proper. So what you do is just lift them very gently with your palette knife and just pop them onto your cooling rack, where they will crisp up and be absolutely delicious. So I'll just risk holding one up because it's very soft underneath. So that's the biscuit there, and that is the owl. Oh sorry, that's the fox. So that's it there, and that recipe and method and everything is in my new book, which you can get on cozebakes.com.